I received an email from Amber, and she has downloaded our heart rate spreadsheet that you guys can find in the description box here under resources. And she was a little bit confused as to how she could train in another discipline to improve her sport of choice. This particular athlete is an elite runner, and she wants to be able to use biking and swimming for cross training, even though she's not a triathlete. And I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to illustrate when you're training for a specific sport. Let's say that you're, in this case, Amber is an elite runner. And when she wants to be able to use the bicycle or swimming as a cross training modality, you have to have the max heart rate for that specific discipline. Now, if you want to contact us, you can do by sending us an email, contact@coachrob.com. I'm happy to share with you our testing protocols for every discipline that's out there. The important takeaway from this short video today is making sure that you know what your up-to-date max heart rate number is for that form of training. In this case, Amber would make sure that she does a max heart rate assessment on the bicycle. She would do a time trial and a max heart rate assessment in the swim. When you input your max heart rate into our spreadsheet, it's very simple. You're just going to plug in your max heart rate. You're going to take your 4-week moving average for your resting heart rate, plug those two numbers in, and it auto-populates the spreadsheet. Now stop and zoom out and stop and think about this. How do I get better at my sport of choice by cross-training? Now, before I go into that, just remember the benefits of this would be when you cross-train, you increase the athletic durability. You decrease the risk of becoming what we frequently refer to as one-dimensional. For example, we like to have our runners do lateral work because they run from point A to point B. But to make them a more well-rounded athlete, to make them more resilient to injury, we have them do agility work left to right, because then we start to engage stabilizer muscles. Now, if we come back to the idea of how do we cross-train, once you get your max heart rate and you plug in your resting heart rate, you're going to notice that you have heart rate zones 1 through 5 that are specific to that discipline. So now Amber can go and get on the bicycle, and if she needs to do an aerobic enhancement ride, she knows what the glass ceiling is of zone 2 specific to the bicycle. You go, well, Rob, wouldn't it be the same across all modalities? Absolutely not. This is a huge mistake that people make. Your max heart rate is dictated by how much muscle you engage. That's why running is always the highest, because it's full load bearing. If you're in a sport like motocross, off-road racing, where you're pushing and pulling around a heavy motorcycle at speed, it's going to tend to be as high as running, if not higher. Because now you have, it may not be load bearing on the ground, but it's the pushing and the pulling, it's the G'ing out, especially for those of you that do the road racing scene, the lateral G's that you guys pull. If you guys race cars, you've got lateral G's, acceleration. It's all relevant to your discipline. But here's the thing. If we're looking to improve aerobic capacity, you need to know what that heart rate zone is for that discipline. You need to then train that for the duration of time that's required. And then you need to make sure that you know what your sweat rate and your calorie burn rate is. We'll do a different video on that in the future. But to answer Amber's question, as an elite runner, which is great, she can run her 25 to 35 miles a week. She's an amateur runner. She can run those 25, 35 miles a week, and she can increase her strength and endurance without all the residual fatigue and physical breakdown associated with running. When you do that, you're going to be able to break up the mental monotony. You're also going to break up the muscle confusion as well. Because now when I get a little bit more efficient on a pedal stroke, I pedal in full circles. I'm going to engage the top and the bottom of my upper thigh, hamstrings and quads. I'm going to engage my calf muscles and my glutes, all the same muscles that you use in running without all the impact. Get a different change of scenery, whether it's inside a gym, maybe it's hitting the trails on a gravel bike or a mountain bike. Now you've got the mental stimulation, you've got the physical stimulation, you've got more of a counterbalance that increases your strength to weight ratios, it reduces your risk of injury, your strength to flexibility ratios go up. There's just a multitude of benefits. But please remember, utilize in our description box our heart rate spreadsheet. Feel free to reach out to us and we'll make sure that we get you the testing protocols. Now you can cross-train with 100% accuracy and confidence, more importantly, of knowing that the work you're putting in is improving the sport of your choice. I know this was a little bit lengthy, but I needed to kind of set the context, and I appreciate your patience with it. If you happen to have a question like Amber did, as always, please send us a question, a frustration, a pain point, contact@coachrobb.com. Here on YouTube, Coach Robb Beam's channel. We are uploading a new video every single morning, so we appreciate the time you've given us today, and we certainly look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.